Good morning. We're holding Kidushin Daf Ayin Amud Aleph, the top line, Giyedi v'Charudi. So yesterday we learned that Ezra Sefer, he made a takana when the king of Persia gave the shus from the Yidden to leave from Babel to Eretz Yisrael. When the king of Persia gave the Yidden reshus to go from Babel to Eretz Yisrael, so Ezra Sefer, he made different categories. He made different yuchsin. And the reason why he did this is because he did not want people, he knew that in Babel there's not going to be any more Talmidei Chachamim because they all went up to Eretz Yisrael. So therefore, he made different categories. He made 10 different categories, distinctions of Yidden. Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim, Chalalim. Okay, so the Gemara says, Yedi v'Charori. He made the category of Gadim. In other words, he put them in their sector. And Charuri, which means Avodim Mishufranim, which means the Avodim that are freed. So these, the Mishnah said that these people also, although in Ezra, they also went up to with Ezra Sefer to Babel. He forced them to go. Okay, it's a machlekes if he forced them, if they went on their own. That we learned yesterday. So the Gemara says, when it comes to converts and Avodim Mishufranim, Minallah, from where do we know that they went up with Ezra Sefer to Eretz Yisrael? So Amar Rav Chisda, and Chisda says, the Amar Kra, the pasuk says, L'chol hanivdol metumas gei haaretz aleim. It says, with regards to eating the korban Pesach, when the Yidden returned to Eretz Yisrael, it says all the Yidden who had come back from Golus, all as such had separated themselves to them from the tumah of the nations of Israel, right? It says, L'chol hanivdol metumas gei haaretz aleihem, they're mistarif in the korban Pesach. So what does that mean? It means that Avodim, Gerim and Avodim Shufranim, who they abandoned what? They abandoned the purity of the nations of the land, which is Avodah Zarah. So they also joined Ezra. So that's how we know that they also joined Ezra. Now, Mamzeri, it says that Mamzerim were also in Ezra, they also were in the boat. So the Gemara says, Minallah, where do we know that Mamzerim also were Oluim Ezra? They also went up, yeah. So it says that Ksiv, was as written, it says, Vayishma Sanvalat HaChareni V'Tiviyah HaEved HaMeni. It says, and Sanvalat and the Chareni and Tiviyah, the servant, the Ameni heard. That's what it says, Pasuk in Nehemiah, Vayishma Sanvalat HaChareni V'Tiviyah HaEved HaMeni. Now, so what do you see from here? You see that Tiviyah, whatever the story is over there, Tiviyah was a servant. And it says also in Nehemiah, Ki Rabim Yehuda Bali Shvuam. For there were many in Yehuda sworn to him, which means that Ki Chosanhu the Shachnaya ben Orach. I'll read the whole pasuk. V'yechonan b'nei Lokach bas Meshulam ben Brachim. Now it says like this. It says, but there were many in Yehuda sworn to him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechniah, the son of Orach, and his son Orach had taken the daughter of Meshulam, Bas ben Brachia. Okay, so what do you see from here? At Tuvia, the Ebed, and Yehuda's son, his son married, what does it say? Married regular ladies, right? He was an Eved. Kiram Yehuda Bali Shvulei. Ki Chosan Ulu Shechem ben Arav Yehuda's son. V'Yichnam b'nei Lokas as Bas Meshulam ben Brachia. How could he marry Bas Yisrael if he was an Eved? So you see from here that Tuvia was an Eved married now. Kasavar. So the Amira holds from here that they went with Ezra Sefer. The Mamzerim went with Ezra Sefer. Why? Because he holds that Eved Kichavim, a goy, Eved Haba Bas Yisrael, Habad Mamzer. Yeah, the people born from Tuvia were Mamzerim. Right, because he holds that anybody who's a mamzer, who's born from a mamzer, is a mamzer. So since the pasuk says that they were where? In Eretz Yisrael, right? The pasuk says that they were in Eretz Yisrael, so it must be that they went up with Ezra. So the Gemara says, this works well if you say that a goy or an eved that has relations in the Bas Yisrael of Vlad is a mamzer. So fine, you have a proof that the mamzer was with Ezra. But according to the opinion that holds Havat kosher, so the child is kosher. So that means the children that were born from Tuvia and Yechanan were kshedim. So my have the member. So how do you know that they went with the Mamzerim went with Ezra? So Nachashayla he asks, "B'mai to have a Nachamo? B'mai to have a who? How you that choking? Dilma because Nachamo. So B'mai to have a bnei. Furthermore, even if they did have children, how do you know that they had children in bubble? Who then were in the bubble? Dilma to have a bnei. Perhaps. So perhaps he did not have children, and it's possible that there were no mamzerim. Furthermore, assuming my dog have lesliki, and furthermore, even if they did have children, from where is it clear that they had children here in Babel? Then why to Eretz Yisrael? Dilma Asim Havu. Perhaps they were in Eretz Yisrael all the time, as they may have been one of the families that were not forced to go to Babel, and therefore they cannot be used as a proof that mamzerim ascended few. Right, and maybe they were not the ones that were going to Babel. Rather the proof that mamzerim were amongst those who ascended from Babel is from here. It says, and these were they that ascended from Tail, Melech, Charsha, Kruv, Adon, V'imer. Lo yochlu lahagid beis havosav zarim Yisrael hein. But they could not tell their father's house, nor their offsprings, whether they were of Israel. Now, the Gemara explains that these names to be interpreted as a Tail Melech. What does Tail Melech mean? Elu bnei Adam shedemim ma'aseim l'ma'asis toim. Shenepchel Tail Melech. Tail Melech means these are the people that had actions were similar to the act of Stoim, which was turned into a mound of salt.
Tell them the way they're coming from.
Tell the time of people, yeah. Tel Charsha, what does Tel Charsha mean? Is that Shekeda Abba of Ima Mishatpe. This refers to a person who calls a man father and his mother silences him. So Charsha is similar to like silence him. So what do we see from here? The statement that there were those who acted immorally as did the people of Sodom means that Sodom and Mamzerim, so must be the Mamzerim as well. Okay, the Gemara continues now. It's the psukim. Pasuk says, and they cannot tell their father's houses nor their offsprings whether they were of Yisrael. So the Gemara says, Zehu Asufi shenesim in Ashok. This is referring to Asufi who was gathered from the marketplace. Such a person does not even know he is a Yid, and he has no knowledge of his parents. Kruv Adain v'imer. What does it mean? Kruv Adain and Imer. Amar Abavo, Amar Adain. Ani amarti Yisrael lefanech shuvim gekruv. Hashem says, I said that the Yidden shall be as important before me as a kruv, but they made themselves like a leopard. Other people say, says Amar Adain. Hashem says, even though they made themselves like a leopard, and they're like to me like a kruv. He says, anybody who marries a woman who's not suited to him because of yuchsin, so the halach is that they ascribe to him, they blame him as though he plowed all of the entire world and sowed it with salt. As it says, as it says, in regards to those who had a flawed yuchsin, who ascended from Babel, and all these were that they ascended from Tel Charsha, Tel Melech and Tel Charsha. Anybody who marries a woman for money, in other words, he marries right. But what if they have good yuchsin? So here the word is they don't have good yuchsin, but they just have money. So the halach is they're not going to have offspring. They're going to have children who act improperly. As it says, they have dealt treacherously against Hashem, for they have begotten strange children. Now, Rabbi Ada explains the psukim. And maybe you're going to say at least the money that they receive as a dowry is spared. Although they suffer, the children suffer or whatever, but at least they have the guilt. Yeah. Now, whatever. That's what the pasuk says. Ata yichlam chaydish es chalkeim. Now shall the new moon devour them with their portions, meaning that their property shall be consumed in a single month. Shema Tamer, unless you're going to say Chelkoi v'lei Chelkoi. Maybe you're going to say that his portion will be lost, but not the portion of his wife. That's why the pasuk says Chelkeihem, their portions. Lashon Rabim. Shema Tamer Zman Meruba. So maybe you're going to say, okay, it will happen after a long time, but the interim I'll benefit from the money. That's what the pasuk says. The Chidush. It says a month. Ma'i Mashma. How can we learn that the money is going to be lost immediately? Amar Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak. He says Chidush Nichnas, Chidush Yotza. A month comes, a month goes. Umameinim Avad, and their money is already lost. So the fact that the punishment they receive as the loss of their portion is mashma that the sin in this case was marrying for the sake of money. He says, anybody who marries a woman who is not suited to him because of yuchsin, Eliyahu binds him in the manner that those chayiv for malchus, and the Eibishter straps him. The Eibishter whips him. The Tana, it was taught, the Tana taught, Al-Kulam Eliyahu Kaisel Kodesh Baruch Hu says that Eliyahu writes it, and the Eibishter signs it. And what does he say? Either the Paisel Zari, the pagan Mr. Shrafti, or Nesa Yisha Shani against Eliyahu Kaisel Kodesh Baruch Hu writes it. It says, woe to he who disqualifies his children and brings a flaw to his family, his yuchsin, and who marries a woman who's not lawfully suited to him to marry, and the Eibishter, Eliyahu binds him, the Eibishter straps him. Furthermore, it says, anyone who disqualifies others by stating that their yuchsin is flawed, so the halacha is puzzle. It's a sign that he himself has a flawed lineage. Now, another indication that one has flawed yuchsin is he never speaks the praise of others. Shmuel says that if a person, and habitually claims that others are don't have yuchsin, the woman basically disqualifies himself. The fly accuses them of having. He's in fact the one who has. Okay, the Gemara says, "Hahu gavra de manardoi the old legabe mitbachai pumbedisa." There was a certain man from the Ardoi who entered a butcher shop in Pumbedisa. Omar lahu, he said to them, "Habli bisra, give me meat." Omar lei, they said to him, "Netar adashoko l'shami de Rabbi Yehuda bar Yecheskel b'neitivlei." Wait until the servant of Rabbi Yehuda bar Yecheskel has taken his meat, and then we will give it to you. Omar man Yehuda bar Shviskel de kodem li l'shokem in kamay. The man said in anger, "Who is this Yehuda bar Shviskel?" In other words, he used a derogatory name for a glutton for meat, that he should precede me, that he should take before me. Oslo Amr Leila Rabbi Yehuda. So they went and they told Rabbi Yehuda that what the man said. So what happened? Shamte Rabbi Yehuda put him in Chayrim. Person who was Mavazat Tamil Chachim. Amro, they also said, Gil the Kari Inshi Avdi. They said that the same man was in the habit of calling people slaves. After Saleh the Avdu, they proclaimed about him that he's a slave and may not marry a Yid. The Gemara continues the story. Also, continues the story. Also, the man was summoned to Beit Din Torah by Rabbi Yehuda to judgment before. The man went and summoned Rabbi Yehuda to Din Torah before Rabbi Nachman, who was a dayan in the Ardoi. I see Pisko de Hazmona. When the summons, when the Hazmona arrived at Pumbedisa, also Rabbi Yehuda came to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda went before Rabbi Yehuda to ask him his advice. Amarle Ezel Ezel. So he said, "Should I go to the Din Torah or not?" Amarle Mezel Leimiboy Lof Lemezel. So Rabbi Yehuda said to him, "As for the obligation to go, you're not required to go. Why? Mishum the Gaber Rabbah. You're a great man, and therefore, are not under the jurisdiction of the Beis Din of Rabbi Nachman. And Mishum Yikar the Benesina Kumzel. But due to the honor of as Rabbi Nachman was the son of the Reish Galusa, so give him the covenant to go to the Din Torah." Also, Hashkechet David Maike. Rabbi arrived in Ardoi and found Rabbi Nachman was constructing a maki. He was making a parapet. Amar lei. So Rabbi said to Rabbi Nachman, "Also, does he not hold that once a person has been appointed a leader of a community, he's also for performing labor before 3 people, so as not to belittle his the covet, his position?" So Amar lei, Rabbi Nachman said to him, Porta the Gundari the Kavina. The Rachman said to him, it's merely a little fence that I'm constructing. So Rabbi Yehuda said to him, Misanya Maked Ksibri Raiso, Mechitza the Omer Rabbanon. So he asked him, the term Micah, which is written in the Torah, he said to him, Rabbi Yehuda said to him, in the term Micah, which is written in the Torah, or let's say Mechitza, the Asher Rabbanon. In other words, why do you use the term that is used? The Torah uses either Lashon Micah or the Lashon Mechitza. Why are you using Lashon of Porta de Nisa? So during the meeting, Nachman Amalei said to him, Yosef Mar Akar Pizzo. Let the master sit on the bench. So Rabbi Yehuda said to him, Amalei said to him, Li Safsel, Amar Rabbanon Yisv Damar Inchi. Rabbi Yehuda said to him, is the term Safsel, which the Chum said, or the word Ishtuva, which common people use, distasteful to you? So, Amalei Leichel Mar Es Rugno. So Rachman said to him, let the master eat a citron. So he said to him, Rabbi Yehuda said to him, this is what Shmuel said, anyone who says a suruga demonstrates 1/3 of haughtiness of spirits. Oh yeah, either use the expression esreg, which the Chacham call esreg as common people say in Aramaic. Since a suruga is a sign of snobbery, as is employed by, it's like somebody is a Balgai, an aristocratic class. So, then he said to him, let the master drink an gabo. So, so he says, is a term in Baris, as the Chachamim called it, or anpak, as common say it. Tasteful, distasteful to you. So later, Nachman said to him, Tasty Dainig dash Canaan. Let my daughter Dainag come and pour us drinks. He said, Shmuel says, one may not use a woman for service as this. Tani. So the Nachman says, she's a minor. So Shmuel says, you can't use a woman at all. What? Yeah. It seems like he came and he just Gewalt and Weissen. Okay, later Nachman suggested, let the master send greetings of peace to my wife, Yalta. So Amalei, Yehuda said to him, the voice of a woman is Erva, and one may not speak with her. So Nachman said, okay, maybe through a messenger. Amalei said to him, Shmuel said, Ein she'elim be'isha, Ein she'elim b'shleim gisha. One may not send greetings to a woman even through a shliach. Why? Is this may cause a messenger of the woman to relate to each other inappropriately. So what did Rav Nachman say? Rav Nachman said that Rav Nachman countered and said they should send greetings to their husband. In other words, through me, which would remove concerns. So you're not allowed to send greetings to a woman at all. Shafal the Debese, Yalta's wife, who overheard Rabbi Yehuda was getting the better of the exchange, sent the message to him. Release him and conclude your business with him, so as not to equate you with another ignoramus. So, so the wife of Rav Nachman said to the husband, Pater Rabbi Yehuda, so you should not make it like the rest of the Amaratza. Now he desired to release Rav Nachman, Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Nachman said to him, "My shiyata the marachi. What is the reason the master is here?" The master sent me summons. So Rachman said to him, now that I have not even learned the master's form of speech, as you basically demonstrated your superiority to me by reproving me of such matters, that I send the Azmana. So Rabbi Yehuda removes the Azmana from his bosom and showed it to him. So, Amarle, hi Gavra, hi Diska. While doing so, Rabbi Yehuda said to him, here's the man and here is the document. So Rav said to him, since the master has come here, let him present this statement in order that people should not say that Chachamim flatter one another, do not judge each other according to the letter of the law. Now, Amar Le, so Nachman commences the deliberation and said to him, my time is Shamtzi Ma'arlahu Gabra. What is the reason why the master put this guy, excommunicated the men? So, they replied, he caused discomfort to the agents of the Chachamim, and therefore he deserved punishment. Somebody who's Mavaz at Talmud Chacham. So Nachman challenged his answer. If so, let the master give him Malchus. Rav would give Malchus the person who causes discomfort to the agents of the Chachamim. So Yehuda responded, the order minei Davidulei. I punished him more severely than that. Yehuda held that Nidei is a lot stronger than Malchus. Now, so Rachman then further said, my time Achas Mar Ole Davdihu. So what is the reason that the master proclaimed him about him that he is a slave? Amar Lei, so Yehuda said to him, because he has the habit of calling other people slaves. The Tani, and it was taught, Kol HaPeisel Pasul. Anyone who disqualifies others by stating his yuchsin is flawed is a sign that he himself is flawed. Another indication is that he never speaks the praise of another. And Shmuel says he disqualifies his own yuchsin. So Rav said you can say that Shmuel said this halacha only to the degree that one should suspect him of being flawed yuchsin. But did he actually say that this is to the extent that one could proclaim about him that he is flawed yuchsin? The Gemara continues the story. Meanwhile, also Ba'dinam and Ardai. Well, the litigant arrived from the Ardai. Amarlehu Ba'dinam Rabbi Yehuda. The litigant said to Rabbi Yehuda, the Didik Karas li Avda, the Sinim Ebi Chashmonai Malka. You call me a slave. I come from the house of Chashmonai kings. So Amarlehu Rabbi Yehuda said, Shmuel says, called the Hamer the base Chashmonai Kasina. Whoever says that I come from the house of Hashmonai king, he himself, Abdu, is a slave. In other words, as explained, only slaves remain of the Hashmonai. Hey. Now, Rav Nachman heard the exchange. Okay, we'll see in a second. So, Amar Lei, Rav Nachman heard the exchange, said to Rabbi Yehuda, do you not hold that what Rabbi Abba says, Rav Yehuda says, and Rav says, with regards to any Talmud Chacham who proceeds to teach a ruling of Allah with regards to a particular issue, so he says that a Talmud Chacham who proceeds to teach a halacha with regards to a particular issue, if he said it before an action that concerns himself occurred, you should listen to him, and the halacha is accepted. If not, if he quoted the halacha only after he was involved in an incident related to the halacha, we don't listen to him, because he's in a Gabbadover. So your testimony with regard to what Shmuel ruled should be ignored, as you stated it after this whole Maisa. So Amar Lei, Rabbi said to him, Rav Nachman, who stands by my report, since he also heard this in the name of Shmuel. Masna had not seen the sin in Adar for 13 years. That very day he arrived. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Yehuda said to him, Dechir mor, my Amar Shmuel ki ko chada kari agudav chada kari mibaro. So he says to him, does the master remember what Shmuel said when he was standing with one foot on the bank and with one foot on the ferry? Amar Lei Amar Shmuel, called the Amar, the base Chashmonai Malka Gasina. He said, whoever says that I come from the house of Hashmonai kings, Avdo, he is a slave. Called Amr Beis Chashmonai, no, Avdo. So because he said that what he said is that anyone who says I come from the house of Hashmonai is a slave, as none remained of them except for that young girl who ascended to the roof and raised her voice and said, from now on, anyone who says I come from the house of Hashmonai is a slave. Other than this scroll, the only members of the family were the descendants of Erod, who was from Edom. So, what happened? The scroll fell from the roof and died, leaving basically the slaves of Hashmonai. Right. So after so Shmuel also Shmuel. Now with the confirmation, the report of the statement, Shmuel, they also publicized in Ardai about him, the man who claimed to come from Hashemai, that what Avdo, that he's a slave. The Gemara relates, and that these several ksubas were torn up in Ardai, as many had their marriages annulled after having discovered that they married slaves. Hikonofik, when Rabbi Yehuda was leaving Ardai, Nofki Abasur the Migri. When Rabbi Yehuda was leaving in Ardai, they persuaded him, seeking to stone him, as because of him it was publicized that their yuksim were flawed. Now, so Rabbi Yehuda said to them like this: if you are silent, remain silent. But if you're not remaining silent, I will reveal about this statement that Shmuel says there are two lines of offsprings in Ardai. He says one is called the dove's house and one is called the raven's house. The simonach and the simon with regards to yuksin is tame, tar, tar. And the impure bird, the raven, is impure, meaning that's flawed lineage, and the pure, the one is a dove, is a pure, meaning it has good yuksin. On hearing this, they threw all those stones that they were intending to stone him from their hands, as they did not want him to reveal who had, they let go. They didn't want him to reveal who had bad yuksin. As a result of all the stones thrown in the river, a dam arose in the Malka River. So the Mark continues now the discussion of those with flawed yuksin. Proclaimed the Pumbedisa. Ada and Yenesan, which are known as residents of the town, are out there, are slaves. Yehuda bar Papa Mamzeder. Yehuda bar Papa is a mamzer. Bati bar Puvia baramas ruchen l'shapel gitin yecherusa. But his arrogance did not accept a bill of shtashikher, and he's still a slave. Machris Rabba b'Machuza. Rabba proclaimed in the city of Machuza. Baloi, Danoi, Taloi, Maloi, Zagoi, Kulam Shulim. He says these people are all flawed lineage. When you say Gavoi, Givayne, these are the inhabitants of the Givi, and they're Givaynim. Tur no Nisa is Droi Nisidishat. And you say Tornisa, these are the village of Tur Nisa, Droi Nisinoi. They're from the village of the Givaynim, and they may not marry a Yid with because they have bad yuksin. Amr Yehuda, Hai Bei Kubet Ubedisa. With regards to the place called Bei Kubet Ubedisa, Kulam Da'av, they're all slaves. Right. Amr Yehuda Amr Shmuel. Yehuda says the name of Shmuel. Arba Meis Avadim, 400 slaves. Amr La Arba Allah from Avadim Ailei. The Pashur Ben Imer. Either he had 400 or 4,000 slaves were owned by this guy Pashur Ben Imer, who was a kohen in the times of Yirmiyahu. Befulam Nitmo Bekona. And due to their greatness, they were assimilated into the Bona and became known as Kohanim. Any Kohen who has a trait of Azus Panim is from them. Amr Abai says, they all sit in the rows of honor that are in the city of Nardai. Now, Rabbi Lazar disagrees with the statement, and this statement disagrees with the statement of Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar embraces Kohen Azus Metzach. If you see a kohen with azus, do not speculate about him that he may have bad yuksin, since the Torah says, "For your people are those who strive with kohuna." Smash for that kohuna, that kohen have a reputation of being Baal Meriva. Okay. Omer Rabbi Omer Bar Yehuda Omer Rab. Anyone who marries a woman who is not suited for him, anyone who marries a woman who is not suited for him, when the Eibishter rests his Shekhinah upon the Jewish people, he testifies with regard to all the Shvatim that they are his people, but he does not testify with regards to those who married improperly. As it says, Shiftei Yah Eidos to Yisrael. The tribes of the Lord are as a testimony to Israel. Amosai have Eidos to Yisrael. When is the testimony of Israel? When the tribes of the tribes of the heathen, but not when their yuchsin are flawed. When the Eibishter rests his Shina in Masha Elam Mishpachas B'Yuchos, it should be so. He only rests upon the families that have yuchos. It says, as it says, at the time, says Hashem, I will be the Hashem of all the families of Israel. It doesn't say Israel, but all the families. And include only those who have unflawed Yuksin, the renowned families of Bnei Yisrael. The Pasuk Yirmiyah says, and they shall be my people. This is a higher standard that differentiates between those born as a Yid and Gaden. In regards to Yid, it says, it says, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. In regards to Gaden, for it says, for who is he that has pledged his heart to approach me? And you shall be my people, and I be your God. This teaches us that Gedim are not drawn close to Hashem, as indicated by the words, and I will be your God, until the first draw themselves near to Hashem, as it says, and you shall be my people. Converts, Gedim, are as difficult to people as a scab. As it says, as it says, and the converts shall join themselves with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov. It's written here, and it says over there, and a sword and for a scab. Teaches the term, the similar root indicates that a ger is like a scab for the Jewish people. Okay, weiter. Omar.
Great, you were then good. I'm trying you.
It says when the Eibishter, entire Shvatim, purifies the Shvatim, in other words, he clarifies the Yuchsin, he will purify the tribe of Levi first. As it says, he shall sit as a refiner and purifies of silver. He shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver. And they shall offer to Hashem offerings in righteousness.